All right, everybody, welcome back to the Dabs podcast. My name is Amela Perez. I am your host. Thank you guys so much for coming back. Got a special treat for you guys today. My first collaboration right here. My man Louie. Welcome to the show. This is one of my favorite people on the planet right here. Louie, introduce yourself. My guy, say hi to the people.
Yo, 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 what's up, what's up? Thank you for having me, first of all, my guy. I appreciate you having me here in your podcast. What a blessing to be here. Um, it's an honor to be here. You're my favorite boss to begin with. You know, I love you so much. I've known you for so long. So it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. You guys, this is a special treat right here. I've been knowing Louis for a long time. We work at the government job together. You know what I mean? We're not going to shout them out, so we're not going to talk about them. We already know who it is. For those of the people that know him and I and that know us, you guys already know what it is. But this podcast is not about them, so we're not going to give. And look, he's already representing. So there it is, people on the mask, all right? But yeah, this guy right here is one of my favorite people, hardworking, great story. Just somebody with good vibes, somebody who's always positive. That's something that always stands out about my man right here,
Thank
Louis.
you, thank you.
Always positive no matter what's going on in the day. And it really just becomes like an infectious kind of thing, especially at 3 in the morning. And we work like some crazy hours. He works even earlier than I do. So if anybody has a right to gripe, it's him, but he doesn't. He's over there doing push ups, pull ups during Christmas and operation, just keeping everybody pumped up. You know what I mean? Like who does that? You know what I mean? Like he's over here just da da da, getting everybody just positive, blood flowing, and that's what you need at work, and that helps a lot. So this is somebody real special right here. I'm glad to have him here as my first guest in the podcast. So this is a special treat, and we're just gonna talk about like our stories. Once we started talking, we kind of realized that we had a lot of the same kind of
A lot of things in common.
exactly.
It was scary. It's scary how many things we have in common. So it's like God put us together for a reason. She reminds me of myself, and I think we've been through a lot of things, similar things, and through the struggle and through the foster system and stuff like that. And like I said, we just have so many things in common. It's scary. Like we like the same music. We work at the same company. We like the same hobby. She likes to ball up. I love to ball up. She loves the Lakers. I love the Lakers, and we
Oh
can just
yeah,
keep going
facts,
and going and going.
facts. He's always wearing Laker gear, and not today because it's kind of cold, and I don't have a Laker sweatsuit, which I need to correct. But yeah, usually I'm wearing Laker gear when I'm off. I have a lot of it, and my man's always wearing some kind of purple and gold. Laker fanatics right here. It's just like a cultural thing for certain people in LA. You know what I mean? If you're a true
Facts,
LA
facts.
person, it just Lakers are just part of your culture. They're part of what you do, part of who you are. And we have that in common. Of course, we love Pac. We got some West Coast playing in the background right here. Yesterday I was lucky enough to take my niece to the Tupac Museum. Don't know if you've ever been. Have you ever been there?
No, I never have.
Okay. For those of you guys out there that live in LA or could drive out to LA, I recommend you go. You have to go. It's on LA Live, so it's not far from us. It's at $40, 45 for adults if you go on peak days, which is like Friday through Sunday, of course. Non-peak days, Monday through Thursday, they're a little cheaper, like $10 cheaper. But it doesn't even matter if you have to pay 45. I paid for that yesterday, Sunday, and I recommend that you go. You said you have a daughter that loves Pac.
My Yeah, my family loves Pac. I love Pac to death. He's a big influence in my life. I'm pretty sure he is to you as
Mm-hmm.
well. We grew up at that era, like Tupac and Biggie and those classic guys, DJ Quick, E40, whatever, Sugar Free. I could keep going for
Mm-hmm.
all the West Coast legends.
Yep. Yep.
So
Facts.
Pac is a beast. He's to me the goat,
He's a goat.
of hip hop. So I will be going to that museum, and
Yep.
I did watch your stuff that you posted up on your social media, and it was beautiful. So I'm definitely gonna go, hopefully sometime soon.
Yep. I think it's been there since November, so I'm telling you guys, I don't know how long it's going to be there anymore, but do it before it goes away because it's one of a kind. It's just so much that you see. I don't want to ruin it, but I'm gonna just say that there's a lot of original artifacts, a lot of things that you've never seen before. Us common people have never had access to, and it's something that's gonna blow you away. And so I didn't even want to show you the pictures because I didn't want to ruin it for you,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So I'm
Respect,
not gonna
respect.
show you. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, you know. So I recommend that you do it. Take your daughter. She's gonna have a great time. My niece had a ball, and it's a good talking point, you know, something that I didn't expect. So check this out, right? So we're leaving already. We're on the way back,
Mhm.
and you know, I didn't want to, you know, be all weird and like force a conversation about it, but I just asked her, you know, did she like it? Right? Pretty simple stuff.
Mhm.
And she's like, oh yeah. And I said, oh, what's your favorite part? You know? And she's like, or what's one of the things that you liked, or one of the things that stands out to you? And she said, out of all the things that happened, when you first get in there, they have like this video montage. And one of the things that I love about it is that it sets up his foundation of who he was, why he was what he was. So you get a treat. You get to find out about his mom
Mhm.
and the whole like Black Panther Party thing.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And so at the beginning, it's talking about just all the things that have culminated in the last couple of years with, you know, the police deaths and
Like a
certain
timeline.
people being, yeah, like just slavery, just very powerful imagery and music and all that. And she was just kind of like, oh, that was something that really touched me. Like she almost cried. And yeah, that
Yeah,
really
Pac,
touched her.
Pac was a deep individual, man. Yeah, and like you said, his mom was a Black Panther activist. So that guy was a smart, brilliant individual. He was poetic. Yeah, he was a actor. He obviously, he was a rapper. That guy, he did so much so young.
Yep.
I look up to him. He inspired me. Like I said, he influenced me big time, and you as well. So shout out to Pac, man. I miss
Oh,
Pac,
yeah.
man. R.I.P. Pac.
Yeah. And you know what? I always say that if he would have been alive right now, if he would have lived, the world would have been a different place, especially hip hop. You know,
Hmm.
I don't think people like 6ix9ine would exist. People like, you know, and I don't want to come over here and be talking smack about certain people, but certain people is boo boo.
Hmm.
Let's just call it the way it is. You know, or they're not my type. Let me just say that, right? So I don't offend the sensitive people, right? But like Lil Uzi and all those crazy dudes, you know, all those mumble rappers, you know, I don't Trippy Red, all those fools, those kind of guys, you know, those guys are on some different psychedelic LSD
Yeah.
trippy shit, you know, and I just miss where hip hop had like some deeper meaning to it.
Hmm. Yeah,
And it's
Pac was a storyteller, man. I'm sorry to interrupt.
no, no, you're right
Yeah,
though.
he was
You're right.
poetic. He
You're
had a
right.
story to tell. Every music, every song had something. He had something to say. You know what I'm saying? So his music was very deep. And
It has a message if you learn how to listen to what he's saying, and some of the shit is so deep that until you listen to it to maybe like the 10th time,
mm,
do you realize exactly what he said? You're like, oh shit, I missed that.
he was lyrical. He
You
was
know,
amazing.
I
Yeah.
missed that metaphor. I missed that allegory. I missed what he was saying. I missed that story. And I definitely recommend. There's a couple of documentaries. Like, I don't know how many Tupac documentaries you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I got some OG ones like that are on DVD.
Cool.
That I mean, I don't know if people have seen. There's
Okay.
one called Thug Angel. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Probably not. Probably not.
It's pretty dope. Like his childhood teacher is on there,
Okay.
and she's somebody that was his early mentor, and it really talks about early Pac
Mm.
and the formation of early Pac, right? And so she met him when he was strict about Panthers, Panther Party, building the new Panther Party. Like when he was what 18, 19,
Mm.
he was gonna join the new African Panthers out there. So in Georgia, I think, or Atlanta.
Interesting.
So yeah, and it talks about that. So that's a great documentary. It's called Thug Angel. I recommend it. There's another one called Resurrection, which is like the one that was in theaters,
Okay.
and that one is pretty good. And then there's another one that's called, ironically, which is crazy because this is what the exhibit is called, is Before I Wake.
Okay.
Now that one is so old that I have it on movie, like VHS.
Wow. That's a
Yeah,
throwback. That's a
yeah.
throwback.
It's
Yeah.
such a throwback. I have it on VHS, guys, and I'll never get rid of it. That's exactly why I keep my VCR. I have the
Mm.
connections and all of that because when that shit phases out and you can't find it anymore, I'm always gonna have it. But I definitely recommend it for those Tupac aficionados that we have that maybe don't know about those. Because way back when I was a young, like I said, when I was my niece's age, which is 14, 15, I was all about Pac. Like Pac is such a big influence to me.
Mm-hmm.
His poetry, I have
Book.
his book. Like, not only do I have his poetry book, I was so blessed that, and this is why yesterday was kind of an emotional day. My sister, who is my niece's mom, bought me many of my Tupac items back in the
Mm.
day when I was her age because my mom was like, "No, I'm not gonna buy that stuff for you," blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and she did. So she enabled me to like get educated and learn about his other things that were not in his music and that was
Mm.
not in the press, and it just allowed me to feed that hunger of knowledge and something that, you know, now I could share with her daughter, which is freaking ironic, right? And it's
Yeah.
a beautiful fact of life that I get to. And that's what I was thinking yesterday. Like, damn, because I seen her soaking it in,
Mm.
and I seen her like understanding from a different perspective who this guy was. Because I asked her, "Do you know who Tupac is?" And she goes, "I mean, not really." And I said, "Okay, well, why did you want to, go to his museum?"
Mm.
And it's because I talk about him, and it's about, somebody that I've shared her music, but only to a certain degree because she's only 14.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, and then she's like, I don't know, she's a different kind of 14-year-old. I'm just gonna say like, and what I mean by that is like she's very sheltered, and so it's not like I could be showing her all this music while I'm picking her up when she's 5 or 6, because if she goes home talking about fuck this and fuck that, my sister's
Yeah.
gonna be like, what the hell? So I had to be conservative with it. But now that she's of age and she knows not to be going around repeating it, it's fun time. So we had a good time, and I think it's like introduction to somebody that we lost early in his life, and somebody that left a great legacy. Not only music, movies, poetry. Like we're gonna watch Above the Rim. We're gonna
Mm.
watch Juice when she's old enough. That's probably a couple years from now, maybe like a year. Juice is pretty crazy, so maybe start with like Poetic Justice or
Yeah.
something a little bit more tame. But definitely recommend. So you talked about being in the foster system, and that's honestly something I've never brought up here on the podcast.
Mm.
I am a product of the foster system. Now, I was blessed and lucky enough to not have been in there that long, and I was somebody that didn't move around.
Mm.
So even though I was in the foster care system in the sense of the word, that's not really it, because I stayed in the same house and I really didn't move from house to house.
You're a little fortunate.
So I was very blessed that the first family that I went to, my mom was like, "Oh no, like, yeah," she fell in love with me, and I was pretty spoiled when I was a baby as far as like when I got to the house. I was a little. I had some circumstances that were pretty crazy. I was a pound or
Mm.
so when I was born. A
Wow.
lot of my siblings were 1 to 2 pounds.
Mm.
We all had like some sort of alcohol or drug dependency. We were all born with it. Like I was in the incubator from August when I was born till mid October.
Wow.
I was in there just trying to fight for life and fight for. I was had a lot of withdrawal symptoms, and when you're born addicted to crack, cocaine, heroin, any of those things, as a baby, you're all fucked up. I mean, there's no which way to put it. You're just all fucked up, and obviously you're in the NICU, and I don't know all the super details of it, but I do know that much because I will never forget that one time, for whatever reason, my tia, yeah, had the papers in the back of her van.
Mm.
My nosy ass saw them and read it. And I remember I read my parents' name. It had like the original birth certificate that I'd never seen before.
Mm.
And so that's why I know my biological parents' names. And then I know that I was in the incubator until like mid October.
Wow.
And that was like something I never knew before. I was
You're
like,
like a
oh,
miracle baby. You and your siblings
yeah,
kind of.
yeah. And it's crazy because we're not siblings by blood. So these are their own instances of the same kind of deal.
Wow.
Right. So it just goes to show you that, yes, the 80s babies, 70s, 80s babies, like they went through some shit. You know what I mean? Some of us. And
You're
our
a
parents
survivor,
were all
bro. You're a
fucking,
survivor and a fighter.
yeah, I mean, I
And a
guess as,
thriver.
as, as you get older, you realize that, I just feel like the Lord has a different plan. It's all driven by what he wants in our life.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky enough to, my mom was like, fell in love with us, with each and every one of us. And she never let me get taken away. She never let me go without anything. Like she used to rock me to sleep. There's many stories
Wow.
that
Yeah.
my family could
What
tell
a
you.
heavy testimony, man.
Yeah,
That's deep. That's deep.
yeah,
I didn't know most of that stuff either,
yeah,
boss. Yeah. That's
yeah.
hard.
It's
Yeah.
true. Like I don't really, I mean,
Wow.
it's not something you're really gonna talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But let me tell you, my mom used to tell everybody that we used to meet that she was so proud of me, that I was yeah, like I was a miracle, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
As you get older, and when your mom passes and you don't have somebody to remind you how much they like love you and how I guess your struggle when you were beginning your life, you kind
Mm-hmm.
of just feel like, all right, well, you're just living your life and it is what it is, and everybody goes through struggles. But yeah, I guess you could say that. You know
R.I.P.
what I mean?
R.I.P. Your mom.
Yeah, RIP. Tomorrow's gonna be 7 years that she's been gone, and yeah, I mean it sucks. She was sick for a long time, and that's for another podcast. I don't want to talk about that. It's gonna get us super sad. But RIP to my mom. But
Mm.
yeah, she was a great lady. She raised a lot of kids. Like there's a picture of me and my first birthday, There's like 20 something kids.
Mm.
Obviously, she didn't foster all them kids, but her community of friends were all foster moms.
Okay.
And we're all people who helped each other, like go to classes. Like my mom used to go to like all these certification classes because she had to keep her stuff current.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
To be a foster parent, you have to have like CPR, you have to be able to do all these things.
Very
And as a
certified.
non English speaking person, she did all this stuff.
Amazing. Amazing.
As somebody who came from Cuba with a third grade education, she did all this.
Amazing.
Got certified, got CPR trained, was able to get first aid certified, all of that. Got her house up to code. She had bunk beds in every room. We had a big house. Like I loved my house. I remember being very proud of my house. Like this is a big house. This is a very warm home. She cooked for us every day.
Wow.
I didn't know we were poor. I'll put it to like that. My brother, was like, yeah, we didn't really know we were poor.
She did a great job, honestly. She did. She held it down. She sounded like a strong lady,
Hmm.
and we need more of those type of people in this world, man. Shout out to your moms, man, for
Hmm.
sure. She
Hmm.
sounds like another great mentor and influence to you, just like Pac and her. So that's why you turned out to be this wonderful person, and I'm blessed to have you in my life. So that's
We're,
amazing,
we're
boss.
both we're both survivors.
For sure,
You
for
know what I
sure.
mean? And we're both people that are a testament to our hard work. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Kind of similar, like I say, yeah, same thing. I didn't get to the foster care system till my teenage years. So around 12, 11, 12, that's when I went to my first foster home. And it was in the city of, what was that? Lancaster. They sent me all the way to Lancaster. And then I went out there for a couple weeks. Me and my older brother were 11 months apart. And long story short, I just after that house, we just kept going to houses from
Why
12 to
why
18.
why why did you get put in the foster system at 11?
Yeah, the first place, well, my mom, she was a drug addict or whatever, and my father was incarcerated. So our parents were basically, not around. So
Yeah.
yeah, then we went to grandma's. Grandma got us, but it was just too much on her plate,
Yeah.
and she couldn't take it. So she sent us to a foster home, and that's how it all started. And we started going to our families back and forth, but most of all, I finished off in the foster care system from like 14 to 17, 18.
You want to know what's crazy, my guy? Is that I don't want to interrupt you at all.
No, you
Something that's parallel is I had a lot of brothers and sisters throughout my childhood. Um, three stayed steady for a majority of my life, which is my godson's dad, which is
good?
Georgie, Nicole, who are my niece and nephew's mom. She lives out in the Bay Area.
Mm,
They were the most, and they were the most consistent. Like we were raised majority of our childhood together.
okay.
But then Nicole, her mom popped up when she was about 11, 12 years old. And to make a long story short, she ended up, getting taken away from my mom, which was really hard for my mom because my mom had her since she was like a baby, like months old.
Yeah.
And then my little brother, he stayed with us, and obviously he's still in the family, right? And then not to say my sister's not in the family, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Like he lives out here, and we were raised together. But then I had other siblings that were here for maybe 4 or 5 years, and then they left. So I'm not gonna say their names, but I also had two sisters that were there for a while. But that was for my mom's later years, and my mom got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. She passed away in 2015. So I want to say I'm not even going to pretend to remember because I'm terrible with years. But when
mm,
she was 70, because we threw her a sick party, she was already like forgetting. She had already forgotten quite a bit. Like she didn't know everybody at her birthday party. I'll just say it like that.
oh,
So she got sick probably around 68. She got diagnosed, and it kind of declined somewhat rapidly. I think in first 5 years, she was able to. She went from being cool, just forgetting things, to not being able to communicate. Like
mm,
you kind of forget how to like talk, right, and your body forgets how to do things, and you just get stuck. So she forgot how to talk, then she forgot how to eat, so you had to feed her and stuff like that, and then she wasn't able to walk, and that's like how it kind of ended up,
mm,
which is crazy. But my whole point is that we had like two sisters that we had to give back because they would not behave,
mm,
and when my mom got sick, and I remember we had like a family meeting. And it's crazy because it literally was a family meeting. Like I have a lot of siblings, right? So all my mom's kids. My mom had 5 siblings of her own.
mm,
Um, which are way older than me. Like my oldest sister is like 55, 56. My mom's youngest kid is 40, 44, and I'm 35. So the age gaps are pretty big. But anyways, we had a family meeting and we told them, hey, look, because they would do crazy things, man. Like it, it, we would find them out in the street at like 12 at night,
Past
you
curfew.
know.
Yeah.
And I mean, these kids are 8 years old,
Mm.
7 years old, badass kids. So that what you just said prompted me, like,
Mm.
because we tried and we had to give them back. Is my point, because my mom couldn't handle that because she got sick, and
Mm.
she shouldn't have had those kids in the first place. Like a social worker should have been able to say, you know what, this 65-year-old woman should not be raising kids with
Oh,
attention deficit disorder and already have learning and behavioral issues that she doesn't really understand and is not capable of handling anymore at this point in her life.
correct.
So, excuse me, I blame social services in that regard because they kind of sucked at their job,
Yep.
you know, because that could have stopped
Yeah, the
a
system's all
lot,
messed up. Yeah, the system's all messed
you
up.
know.
You'd be
But
surprised with stories you hear. Yeah. But
that just prompted me, you know, because of what you said.
oh
But
yeah,
go
similar
ahead.
to yeah,
Yeah, like it was
exactly
similar
what
to
happened
what
to my
happened,
grandma.
right?
Yeah, so my grandma's same age, kind of. You know, she was married and living on her own, and you know she tried, so she got us. But like me and my brother were like your two sisters or nieces that you mentioned, so we're a little too extra sometimes at that age. We had all that and put up with this, so she respectfully took let
That's
us go to the
hard.
foster care system. So basically, that's what happened. You know, I don't have no hard resentment towards grandma. You know, my grandma passed away 2 years ago, R.I.P.
Yeah,
For the
RP to your
pandemic.
grandma.
She got the corona, whatever.
I'm sorry to
Um,
hear that, man.
yeah, and so that's what happened. But I had a good relationship with my grandma. I didn't ever like lost respect for her for doing what she had to do because I understand now as an adult why she did what she did. So it is what it is. But yeah, so I went through that phase and then grew out of the foster care system at 18. I emancipated and started
Damn.
like living on my own and living with friends. And then started renting out rooms and stuff like that. And then went to college for about a year. I went to East LA College, um, community college, and then
Okay. We used to play against them.
shout out to the Huskies, yeah, for sure.
We used to play
And
against
then
them.
after that, I started working and going to school. And then eventually, that's when I started working where I met you at.
Yep.
And I've been there ever since, and I've known you ever since. And it's just a blessing. But we have some heavy testimonies, and it's amazing, just hearing all the stuff that all the good stuff that talk about your mom just reminds me about my grandma. So
Yep.
shout out to those beautiful ladies.
Yep.
Rest in peace to their souls, and we miss them so much.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
so, yeah, but we don't want to get too stressed and depressed. So let's
No.
see what
No.
else we can talk
No.
about. So we talk about Pac, we talk about
Yep.
our parents. We want to talk about
Let's
now. We
see.
want to talk more
So you
about some
know what?
sports or.
Some stuff went down yesterday, right? So we got to address the elephant in the room,
Mm.
right? It was Oscar Sunday yesterday.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's talk about it, my guy.
Mm.
What do you think? Okay, because
Oh
okay,
man.
so yesterday, for those of you guys that live under a freaking rock and maybe don't know what happened, Will Smith smacked the shit out of Chris Rock yesterday.
Smack the
Okay.
soul out of him.
I mean, yeah. So what happened? So Chris Rock, to me, the joke was funny. Was it a little distasteful? Maybe.
Mm.
But it's Chris Rock. It's like Dave Chappelle. It's like you complaining that Dave Chappelle is distasteful. Okay, it's Dave Chappelle. Like Dave Chappelle says some crazy shit all the time.
Mm.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, it's just comedy. Like you can't take it all serious, man.
It's tough. But it was
Um,
live on TV. That was the toughest part. Like live on TV, only if he could have did it backstage, maybe. If he could have just
yeah,
showcased.
like what do you mean if he would have said the joke backstage, or if he
No,
would
no,
have?
like he would just say the
Let's
slap
see
for
this.
backstage.
So okay, so you don't have any
Maybe.
problem with the slap.
Yeah, for sure the
Let's
slap has
see.
to come because you talk about people's moms or wives
There we
or
go. Let's do that
or
right
even
now.
daughters. That's pretty like that's a no.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. Right.
But the
Okay.
whole slapping the person on national television, like for people to talk about it for life or for a man to man or a girl to girl to like just any type of physical contact, that's like not a good look. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-mm.
I would have personally did it behind closed doors, maybe not live or in public like that, but whatever. But he was probably saying some. I didn't watch the show, but
Oh, okay.
from what I heard, he was saying
Okay.
a joke on
Yep.
on national TV perhaps, and he told him, "Hey, don't keep my name, keep my lady's name out your mouth, keep my wife's name out your mouth."
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess he kept proceeding with a joke or whatnot. So when he got his award, he went up there and smacked him. I don't know, I don't know the full story, but
No, so this is what happened because I saw it live. All
mm-hmm.
right, so what's his name? Chris Rock is out there roasting, right? And at this point, everybody's been getting roast. Regina Hall's roasting people. Amy Schumer's roasting people.
Mm-hmm.
Like Amy Schumer made a comment about somebody gaining weight, which I think is always an off-topic subject. Like I don't think that's very tasteful at all. Like to say somebody gained weight on national TV is
And body
fucked up.
shaming is not cool.
That's
Yeah.
not cool, right? I think that's the line. But okay, she did it, and everybody was like, "Ooh." She didn't get any laughs, and so whatever, you move on. But what happened was Chris Rock goes, "Hey Jada, like, let me know when the GI Jane 2 tour is,
Mm.
right?" And he said, I can't wait to see it." That's what he said.
Yeah, not too bad, I guess.
And I was like, "What? Okay." So he said that. Everybody laughed, and then they showed them. They showed Will and Jada,
Mm.
and Will kind of laughed, right? But Jada did not laugh, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see Jada tell, like, just kind of give him a face, and I don't know, obviously, if she told him anything or whatever. And then Will goes up there, right? And so Chris is like, "Oh man, like that was a nice one.
Mm.
Like, come on, guys, like that wasn't that bad, right?" And so he's trying to, move on. And Will walks up. All right, it's live TV. He walks up, and he just, boom, smacks the shit out of him,
Mm.
right? And everybody's like, "What?" First of all, people think that it's part of the show, right? So you're just kind of like, "Oh shit."
Wow.
You have no, and then in the United States they froze it,
Mm.
so you didn't hear the uncensored.
Mm.
When you listen to see the uncensored, you'll see that. So Chris Rock is like, "Wow, dude!" Like he tells Will, like, "Wow, bro, like really?" And Will's like, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth."
Wow.
He says it loud, like as he's walked away and he turned around, he said it right.
Mm.
Then he sits down and Chris is like, "Are you serious, dude? Like it was a GI Jane joke, right?"
Yeah, yeah.
And then Will was like, he said it again, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth." But he was like, but then again, I will say this. And then Will told him again, like, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth." Chris was like, "All right, I will." And then Chris Rock was all fumbling after that. He was all like,
Mm. Yeah, I saw the
it,
slap.
it fucked up his whole thing, right? Like he didn't really know what to do. Like he tried to recover, and he did, I guess, but it was not a good look, right? It was not a good look. But at the end of the day, then Will wins for best actor, right, in a supporting in a lead role for King Richard.
Mm-hmm.
So he won, and then he goes up there and he's crying and he's talking about protecting his lady and this and that. And look, man, people want to say, first of all, everybody has an opinion. So Louie, what's your opinion about this situation? So he slapped the shit out of him, told him, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth."
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes up there and he says a speech about how he doesn't address it directly, but he says that as a celebrity, it's a hard weight to carry, that people want to talk shit about your family and they want to shit on your name, and they think it's okay to cross the line and say those things, and that's not okay, and this and that, and that's pretty much what he said. And people were like, "Okay, he was addressing that indirectly."
Well, yeah, that's a touchy subject that, for damn sure. But like, I definitely don't condone physical or violent, for sure, man on man or man on women. So yeah, but when you're talking about people's family members like grandparents, mothers, daughters, wives. I mean, you got to kind of expect kind of that kind of stuff to happen. You might get hit. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, I mean, Will Smith was heated. Will Smith took it personal, and he had to do what he had to do. But like I said, I probably would have waited to do it backstage when the cameras and lights are off, and to avoid all this people, judging or talking, or because a lot of professionals do stuff behind closed doors, I'm sure, and then I'm sure celebrities do things, behind the cameras. So I would have just probably dealt with it that kind of way. But he had it coming to him, because I mean, if you're talking about my wife or my daughter or whoever, I might put hands on you too, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be a hypocrite, but I don't condone it for sure. I don't really. I would have dealt with it another way, because he's a comedian. So that's kind of
And
like his
and
job.
that's what I was gonna say. So if you go to a stand-up show, right, you and your lady, right,
Mm.
and a comedian makes a joke on your lady, are you gonna beat the comedian up?
Nope, nope.
Okay.
See.
So and that's what I want people to understand. Like that's kind of my, and everybody has an opinion, right? So I'm not
Mm.
trying to like say, oh, you should agree with me because I just obviously everybody has an opinion.
Mhm.
But it kind of trips me out because number one, Will Smith used to be a comedian. He
Mhm.
used to be funny. He forgets that now. He's all dramatic and all serious acting. But he used to be a comedian,
Yeah.
right? And nothing was off limits with Will, right? You have another one. Oh, I think I put them all in the fridge, huh?
Are we
We
getting
might have to
another one?
take a yeah. Let's take a. Okay, go grab one.
Yeah, right, right.
Hey, we're gonna take a Modelo break. All right, this is a live broadcast right here to some degree, so we're gonna do that. You know what I mean? And then let me do something real quick. Oh yeah, hey, we're live over here. This is what we do. There it is. Beautiful, my man. All right, there it is. You know, got to get a little bit of light in here. You know.
We back. We back.
Yep, we
We
back.
live.
We gotta hit a.
Shout out, salud.
You know what I mean? A little Modelo break. But yeah, like I just feel like this. Okay, number one, Will, I understand that you want to defend your lady. If you want to do that, you could have done a couple of different things. You could have taken that moment to educate everybody about why you're so sensitive because I didn't know that Jada had alopecia,
Mhm.
right? Number two, it was a joke, and all he said was, "GI like where's the GI Jane premiere?" Like he didn't say nothing, and he could have roasted you for many things. Need I remind you that Will Smith was a meme a month ago, maybe 2 months ago? No, a couple months ago,
Mhm.
because his wife and him was on Red Talk, and she's saying to the world, telling him in front of the world how he's not man enough for her, and she had to go like basically like fuck other dudes and go out with other dudes. Not only August Alsina, that was one of the guys, because Will wasn't fulfilling for her, wasn't doing the things that he needed to or whatever, or couldn't do it. So you want me to respect her as your woman after that she all said that to you? I lost a lot of respect for her as your wife for saying that shit. Like you guys put your relationship out there, and then now that people have some sort of an opinion, you want to say, "Oh, keep my wife's name." Okay, then why do you guys put your shit out there like that? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and he didn't even make a joke about that.
Mhm.
He made a joke about her hair, and I get it. You know, he okay, that's insensitive. Cool. Then you, like you said, backstage, hey Chris, come here. Like what the fuck? I just think that Will Smith lost his cool at that time. I think that he has a lot going on, a lot of pressure, because his wife made him look like a bitch. That's what I like. Sympathize with Will Smith. Like I'm not mad at him. I feel like he did what a man has to do, especially when another man says a joke about your wife in national TV. I get you, but it was just a joke. Chris Rock was roasting a lot of people at that time. He had roasted Penelope Cruz, Javier Bardem. Like he had roasted a lot of people at that
Mhm.
time. And it's Chris Rock. It would be like if Dave Chappelle made a joke and you get all upset. It's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like to me, I don't know. But like I said, I get it. But I wouldn't have done that. Like I don't know about slapping somebody in front of millions of people at the Oscars, because it just shows that there's a trigger and there's something that's going on in your marriage that obviously really is causing this to come from, because it didn't come from that joke. I'll tell you that. Like it came from, maybe it came from your wife saying all that stuff and making you look kind of weak on national TV. Like I don't know. I lost a lot of respect for Jada because it's like, how do you do that to Will? How do you tell the world that you fucked all the other dudes because
Oh man.
he wasn't?
Her entanglements, man. But
Her
yeah.
entanglements and her situationships. Um, this is what happens though, And then you have a show where you talk about it not once, not twice, multiple times, and then you bring your mom on there,
Mm.
and you guys are over there having a sick family conversation on national TV, and now you want me to what? Not have an opinion, and not make a joke? You're lucky he didn't talk about that.
True, true.
So it's like, come on, bro. I understand you're upset, and I understand your frustration, but I think he kind of took it out on the wrong person. Like
Facts.
I hope you
Got a
had
lot
this
of points.
energy at August Alsina, who's also telling the press that you okayed it for him to sleep
To
with your wife.
satisfy your woman.
Yeah,
Something like that.
because you weren't doing it.
Oh
Like
man.
what? How
This
you
is
gonna
a
be
weird
mad at Chris Rock?
this is a weird relationship here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't really follow him like that, but I've been hearing a lot of stuff like that and about her entanglements, and I did not know about her hair thing. Did you
Yeah,
but
I didn't know either. I didn't know she had alopecia. That's what I'm saying. Like it was a great
I don't
chance
think if
yesterday.
Chris Rock knew that either. So
Mm-mm.
if he would have known that, I don't think he would have took that joke. But yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I don't
He's
know.
a
Chris Rock's kind of
comedian.
a dick. So
Yeah, he's a comedian, and so was, like you said, mentioned Will Smith as well. So I don't know why he took it
Yeah,
to
if
rise
Eddie
step.
Murphy did it, would you slap him? Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart?
I don't think so,
I
man.
don't know. So why did you slap Chris Rock, dude?
For,
Like
for,
I don't get it.
that's messed up, man. That's
But
messed up. But it happened. It happened, and that guy got to live with it
my
for the
man,
rest of
he's
his
gonna
life,
be a
man.
meme between that and the Red Table Talk because the Red Table Talk he was a meme,
Man.
right? So at the end of the day, it just gave us something to really talk about because the Oscars is boring, and like I said, it is boring, and why the fuck is the Oscars even a thing at this point? Like they don't recognize minorities. Like I'm sorry, dude, but it's a bunch of white folks winning awards of movies that okay. Have you ever heard of the movie Dune?
Mm-mm. I don't really do movies that much, but
I'm a
I
movie
haven't heard that
person
one.
and I never heard that fucking movie.
Yeah, I haven't heard that
And
one.
it won like all these awards. I know it because I heard like it win at least 7 times
Ooh.
for like originals. You know what? I'm not gonna act like I know the
Mm-hmm.
categories because I'm gonna sound like a dummy. Because you guys know, but I don't know. But they won a lot, and I was just like, wow, this movie doing like. I wonder if it's any good. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I don't really do movies, man. But if I do movies, they're Disney movies. Just because my daughters,
I
that's
feel it,
it.
man.
They control the
I feel
movies,
it.
so I can't really do the
I
adult
feel it.
movies, man.
I feel
It's
it.
always a Disney movie. Shout out to Walt Disney.
Hey, R.I.P. That guy's still over here making and breaking millions. But yeah, it's just pretty crazy. Like, I mean, that's a whole nother podcast. Like Oscars. Like, why does that even matter to a certain degree? Because half of these people, more than half, never even heard of, never even heard of, and it's like super important to the Hollywood culture. And it's just kind of like these are revamped. These are revamped. Like, I don't, whatever the voting thing is, the way that they do it sucks. It definitely doesn't match with like the people life. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you know, I don't want to, keep talking about it. Just wanted to bring it up because I think that's crazy and that's going to be a moment that lives in pop culture. That's going to be in, remember that show at VH1, the 90s, like back in the 90s, back in the 80s, back in the 70s, like they would tell you what was the things that was popping back then. You remember
No,
that show?
I don't think so.
Yeah, in VH1. I think it was called like, I don't know what it was called. It was like a little catchphrase, but it ended with the century, not the decade that it was talking about.
Hmm.
So right here, when we're talking about the 2020s, this is gonna come up. This moment here with Will, Chris Rock, Jada, August
Man,
is gonna come up as an infamous thing,
that's crazy,
right?
dude. That's crazy.
So we just wanted to, talk about that real quick. But Louis, I think that you don't give yourself enough credit, my guy. I think that you're a special individual. He's a dad. A girl dad, very involved girl
Shout out to
dad.
all the girl dads out
You
there,
know what I
man.
mean?
Girls are amazing.
Yes, I
Man,
have
lift
a
them
little
up.
girl as well. Yes.
Lift up the girls,
Yep.
man.
I have a little
There's
girl
a
as well.
future. There's a future,
How old are
man.
your girls, Louis?
I'm blessed with a 14-year-old and I'm blessed with a 9-year-old. So God blessed me with two beautiful, amazing daughters, and I'm just like happy every day, just being part of their lives and waking up to them every day. And they keep me going, they keep me motivated, and they're the reason I grind so hard and I go so hard, because those girls, I just don't want to fail them, I want to be there for them, and I don't want them to go through what I went through. So, so yeah, I got two beautiful girls, and they're blessed, dude. They're just doing so good. They're
That's beautiful,
growing,
man.
they're developing. One's in high school already, one's in
Man,
middle school, and
goes by so
they're
fast,
getting
huh?
good grades and all. Yeah, they're good. They're just keeping me busy. They keep me
Mhm.
going. Yeah. So
Mhm.
shout out to my two daughters,
Yep.
Leilani, Catalea. I
There
love
you
you.
go. You want to know what's crazy, dude? And I'm not gonna really expand on this, but you want to know what's crazy?
What's up? What's up?
Is I love you, man. I got a lot of love for you, dude. You know what I mean? And hey, your daughter's name is the same name as my baby mama's daughter's name.
No way.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, that's scary.
Mhm.
We got a
Yeah.
lot of things in common, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Her second daughter, my ex's, second daughter's name is, I think it's Aubrey Catalea. So
Ooh.
Catalea Aubrey.
Wow.
Yeah. One of the two.
Wow,
And
that's
I was, yeah.
scary.
So right now when you said that, I was like,
Woo.
ain't that some shit?
I'm about to get some chills right
You know
now,
what I
boss.
mean? Ain't that some shit? Like,
Oh man.
it's just like
Beautiful
intertwined
names.
connections. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
beautiful names.
and she got it, I think, from the movie Colombiana because I used to be one of her favorite movies.
Yep.
So
That's where we
I'm
got it
pretty
from.
sure, right?
That's where we
So
got it
I'm
from.
pretty sure that's where everybody got the name Catalea from. And I got another homie whose daughter's name. Shout out to the homie Jessica Diaz. Her daughter's name is Catalea. So it's crazy, you know.
A wonderful name. And
Um,
I like the movie, yeah, Colombianos. Shit.
you know, And what is your daughter Leilani?
Leilani, yeah, so she's 14. She's going to Workman High School. She's a freshman. She'll be 15 this year. She's a Virgo.
And you said her middle name is Michaela, right?
Her middle name is Harmony.
Harmony. There
Yeah.
you go. There you go.
Leilani Harmony
There you go.
Maldonado.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's gifted. She's talented. She's smart. She
That's
likes to
beautiful.
sing. She's in tennis. And she's an artist. She loves to draw. I'm trying to like uh, get her to be an internship or an apprentice at my cousin's tattoo shop, so she could
That's
start tattooing. She's a little young still, but that's where I want to kind of like lean her towards, because I have family members
That's beautiful.
that own their tattoo shop, like my cousin Mike Avena. A shout out to him. He's out there in the city of Orange, Stone Temple. So you guys want your tattoos, go hit him up. That's my cousin. He'll hook you up.
Yo.
And so yeah, so I want to send my daughter over there to his shop so she can start learning how to do some tattoos. So because she's badass in art, she knows how to do a lot of like realism and anime and stuff that's like trending right now, stuff that's like pretty popping right now. So I'm like, dude, you got a gift, man. You got to start drawing.
Got to harness it. You got to grow it.
Yep.
So that way it's what's crazy is my daughter. Even though I haven't seen her for a long time, which is a whole other podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I find out about her. And the Lord blesses me enough to give me little bits and pieces of information throughout the years, and I know that she's a baller, and I know she gets that from me.
Mm-hmm.
When she was little, and I know it's crazy because I only had her in my life till she was about 4.5, 5 years old. But still, we used to watch ball. We used to watch the Lakers all the time. But she's a baller. She loves Kobe. So it's crazy because I can just imagine, how great she is at that. She's great at science and math, because I seen that she won an award last year. And she's super smart, which, of course, she was always smart. As a baby, she was smart. So it's just like great to know that she's fulfilling that great potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, obviously her mom's doing it, obviously knows what she's doing. She's doing a good job, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But, she's just a smart girl. And it's a beautiful thing to know that your kids are doing well, that they're thriving, they're healthy. And obviously, I want her in my life, but I know that she's doing well. And that's ultimately the most important thing, because she's going to turn 18 soon or 16, 17. So the time is coming soon where we're going to be able to have a relationship. So, the hard part is almost over because, that's been since she's 6 years old
Mm-hmm.
and she's about to be 13. So it's been almost 7 years since I've had the pleasure of seeing her. My sister's seen her a couple times in and out, but that was years ago, not so much recently.
Yeah.
COVID just kind of made things a lot different. Um, but with God's timing, everything's gonna work out the way that it needs to.
Absolutely. Yep.
But I just want to say thank you again for coming out to my podcast, Louie. It was a pleasure.
Oh,
We got to do this again because there's so much more we got to talk about.
you already know. You
I
already
really
know. Thank you for
appreciate you.
having me here,
You know
man.
what I mean? It was a blessing. This guy is, like I said, a great guy. You know what I mean? And just a great father, a great community man. I will see you going out supporting the community, supporting. There's so many things you can do to support your community. Go to your local businesses and support. You're always going to the mom and pop spots and putting them on, tagging them on your social media.
You
So I
have to,
just want to
man.
say thank you for that because that's a beautiful thing. That's how you keep your community strong.
Yep.
That's how you fight gentrification because you got to fight that shit. We can't have fucking Starbucks and fucking McDonald's everywhere. We got to help these mom and pop spots because that's what strengthens the middle class. That's what strengthens the community.
Facts.
And we can't all give into that shit. You know what I mean? We can't all do that at the end of the day. So I just want to say thank you, dude. Nothing but love. Much appreciated. To you guys, thank you so much for coming back. It's a treat. You know what I mean? And like I said, this isn't our last time. We're going to do this again.
Let's get it.
All right, we're going to do this again. So thank you guys for rocking with me. Much appreciated. Deuces.